Hello, respected educators and friends. I'm Anju Shazo, and I will take you through the experiential learning methodology used in this course. I'm a teacher and a teacher trainer, and I have a doctorate in education from King's College London. I co founded the Mahatma Gandhi International School at Ahmedabad in 1999 with my husband, Dr. Pascal Shazo, where we created and implemented a joyful, co creative, experiential learning methodology. This is called generated resources learning, and it is used in this course. The Mahatma Gandhi International School is a very unique public private partnership model school, and it is run under a trust of the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation. You can visit our website www.mgis.in if you want to know more about the school and if you want to be in touch with us. Thank you. As you know, our educational models are something we've inherited from our colonial past. And these models are actually based on the prison or the factory models. If you look at the prison as well as a school as a system, then you will notice that there are many things in common, such as timetables, uniforms, the morning assembly, the roll calls, the need to subjugate the learner through control of the body, the cell structure, that means a linear seating arrangement, and even the need to monitor the child all the time or to supervise the child. All these are coming from the prison and the factory models. So there's, of course, a need to change our educational methodologies and our models. The experiential learning methodology called generative resources learning has been developed and is practiced at the Mahatma Gandhi International School in Ahmedabad since the last 20 years. It is inspired from many leading educational practitioners and theorists, and it is designed to make learning easier, more joyful, more purposeful, and meaningful and active for the learner. Now, what is experiential learning? And very broadly, we can define it as the interaction between the self and the environment. Many great educators such as Montessori, Dewey, Piaget, and Gandhi considered that physical and sensory interaction with the environment was a foundation for knowledge construction. However, as Dewey wrote, it is the quality of experience that is important. After all, being bored is also an experience, but not necessarily a desirable one. Children must be engaged and active. And as Piaget, who wrote many theories on cognitive development, explains, the process of learning must proceed from concrete experiences to abstract notions. As we all know, in his idea of educational reform called Nai Talim, Gandhiji encouraged children to learn different disciplines and skills through productive crafts. He felt that children would acquire both ethical and intellectual virtues through the practice. Even the great educationalist, philosopher, and poet Rabindranath Tagore showed the importance of being connected to nature and learning through art and aesthetics as a way to understand the nature of reality. Much of our colonial education has led to a fragmented understanding of ourselves and our bodies. In fact, Sri Aurobindo showed us that a holistic education is possible when we make connections between the physical, the mental, and the psychic aspects of a human being. And finally, let us recall that Krishnamurti stressed upon the importance of a questioning spirit, which would lead to the development of an autonomous learner with a critical and scientific temper. This entire course was constructed and the films were filmed before the pandemic broke out. And we know in the current context, a lot of teachers have questions. How am I going to do this when the kids come back to school? How do I do it now when we are just doing online learning? Well, we will respond to your question about online learning in later videos. At this point, let us just say that when the children come back to the classroom, there are many things that are already there in this methodology that will be very useful to carry out. For example, learning in open spaces. This already allows for a lot of social distancing. We're also showing you the way that the body and space can be used. There's a lot of movement. Children are going out, they're doing things, that they're embodying things. And this is so important again for the children after the confinement. They have been working alone, they've been inside confined spaces, they've been fearful. So this was going to be a very useful methodology when the children come back to the schools, because they will want to connect with their classmates, they will want to have fun, they will want to use their bodies in the learning. Another important, really fundamental thing is about the positive emotions that are generated through playfulness. And this, of course, promotes well being, and this well being then in turn promotes resilience. Resilience is the only way forward. In the face of this pandemic, we know that immunity levels are very important to be maintained, and children who are stressed will have low immunity. So, children who are joyful, who are happy, free from stress, engaged in learning will definitely experience well being and will be more resilient. Also, the idea about collaborative learning and reflection is very important. Children have been working alone through the pandemic period, to the lockdown, and whatever reflection or they could do was again mostly individual. Even if they were able to discuss with other people, partners, still the real collaborative learning, with the real exchange, face to face exchanges between groups of 4, 5, or 8 children could not happen for a lot of classrooms. So, this, when they come back to the schools after the pandemic, is going to be a very important exercise to be done, the collaborative learning and the joint reflections. Let's end this little presentation as we go further by recalling Mahatma Gandhi's own words. And he did say that drawing out the best of the child in terms of the body, the mind, and the spirit, that connection is so very important. And finally, he also said, if everyone was a teacher, who'd be the learners? Let's all be learners. In this paradigm shift, the teacher is as much a learner. We are no longer teaching, we are all just in a space that they are learning together. And that shift is the shift that we have to bring in into the education system. Thank you very much.